It's a beautiful day to be alive. Welcome to our 30-minute live with me, your host, Ify, your go-to immigration lawyer. Welcome, bienvenidos. We have Dennise, our Spanish translator, with us today as well. Hola, Dennise.
Hello, I'm here to help you and really happy to be here, accompanying
Awesome.
you. And our audience, come here, click or likes, make your questions. We're here to help you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for being here as well. We also have our queen, Patricia, behind the scenes, making everything happen. Thank you very much for being here too. So, without much ado, let's just get into the topic because we have a lot of questions already coming in, and we just have 30 minutes today because I have a consultation afterwards. So, today we're diving deep into spousal visas. What happens when you are living abroad and you're married to a US citizen? The biggest question I get all the time is, how do I start the process? How do I come into the USA? So if you're living abroad, you're married to a US citizen or permanent resident, and you want to know about how to get your green card, this live is for you. So share this live with your friends so that everyone can get this information and get started on living in the USA, working in the USA, and just building your family in the USA. All right.
Perfecto.
Adelante.
El
Sí.
día de hoy vamos a comentar si usted está casado con un ciudadano americano, pero vive en otro país fuera, retirado por alguna razón familiar, de negocios, de trabajo, de estudio quizá, que lo quiera usted iniciar su proceso para su vida en Estados Unidos junto a su familia. Le vamos a enseñar cómo hacer la visa de esposo por parte de la familia. Muy bien. Estamos listos.
Sí. Gracias. Entonces, the first point I'm going to discuss today relating to getting your spousal visa is talking about how to get started. So, how to start, that's the first thing we'll discuss here, because if you don't know the basics, this is how you get into problems. And I'm going to invite you all to book a consultation with me to get into knowing the basics. As I'm discussing it on this live, if you get any questions that come up as you're listening to me, just ask in the comments. But our one-on-one consultation, which is about 45 minutes, is going to really tell you the areas you need to focus on for your family, because every family is different, and there are red flags that you may not be aware of that you need to avoid in the beginning. So how to get started, how to kickstart this process. The first thing you need to know, or you need to ask yourself, is if I have enough evidence to show the USCIS my intent to build a future together with this person. Because remember, we're talking about someone who lives abroad, right? So you don't live together, you don't have a lease together. It's not a typical marital relationship because it's a long distance marriage relationship. So how do I prove to the USCIS that I actually have the intent to build a future with this person? That's the first question. And once you can do that, you're going to now start filling out the I-130 forms, because that's the form that you show the USCIS as a US citizen, right? You're saying, I'm a citizen, I'm married to a non-citizen who lives in Mexico or Honduras or Nigeria. We get a lot of those because you all know I'm Nigerian. So my spouse lives abroad, and our marriage is legit. We have a child together. I've traveled to this country like 5 times this whole year. That's evidence of us, trying to be together and build a family. So having a child is also, you're building a family. Like it's a lifelong commitment. So that's the first thing you need to think about before you actually initiate the application, which will be your first step. Okay?
Very well. Entonces, nuestro primer punto es, I love it. It is so you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sí.
Okay. So, la primera cosa que tenemos que demostrar es que, ¿cómo vamos a empezar? Tener suficiente, como esto no es una relación de matrimonio normal, regular, estamos hablando de que usted vive fuera del país o que su esposo vive fuera del país, nosotros tenemos que llenar la forma I-130. Aquí usted le va a pedir al gobierno que su familiar, que su esposo, que está viviendo fuera de el país, pueda venir con permiso para hacer familia. ¿Qué demostrar? Pues lazos familiares, a lo mejor tienen un hijo, tratar de demostrar eso es un compromiso de por vida, o también a lo mejor ha viajado 5 veces para encontrarse y poder convivir o compartir momentos importantes. Todo eso forma parte de lo que los puede apoyar a comprobar que son un matrimonio legítimo.
Gracias, Dennise, for that explanation. Very important to know since your family type is different, in this whole long distance marriage thing. So the next thing we'll talk about is the step-by-step process to actually get the green card, because the first step that I discussed just now is just only getting you to prove the relationship, right? This is all about the relationship. So the next step for point 2, the step-by-step process, is your DS-260 application, which is done online generally, but it's done to the consulate of the country where your spouse is living. Okay. And I'll bring up one scenario that is typical that happens sometimes. Let's say you're Nigerian born, you have a Nigerian passport, but you traveled to New Zealand, for example, for work or something. So now you live in New Zealand. Okay. So the question is always like, do I process my green card in Nigeria or in New Zealand? And the answer to that for step 2 of this process is you're going to have to process your visa in a place where you're allowed to live legally and you're basically there for a purpose. If you travel to New Zealand as a tourist, just for like a temporary visit, you're not going to have the opportunity to get your visa there because you're not a resident, you're not there for work, you're not, they don't recognize you in their system, essentially. But if you're there for work, you're there for school, you have a visa, you have residency, whatever it is for that country, and you live there, you'll be able to get, even though you're Nigerian born or whatever. I actually have a couple like that right now. I think it's Ecuador and Haiti. I think she's Haitian born, but she lives in Ecuador. So, but she's there legally as well. So that's also her country for all intents and purposes for this purpose. So she'll be able to, instead of traveling back to Haiti to do her consular process, she will do it in Ecuador. That makes sense. Muy bien.
It made sense, yes, muy bien. Entonces aquí sería el escenario de, por ejemplo, vamos a ver, hay que llenar la DS 260. DS 260 se llena en el escenario de, por ejemplo, ¿cómo pedirías tu visa en lugar de, si tú naciste en Nigeria, si te fuiste a trabajar a Nueva Zelanda? ¿Es más recomendable o Nigeria o Nueva Zelanda? Aquí sería cuestión de que si tú tienes permiso en el lugar en donde tienes permiso de residir o de trabajar, que realmente estés seleccionado en el sistema como perteneciente, contribuyente de esa sociedad, a ti te puede facilitar el proceso y tienes un derecho de solicitar una visa dentro de ese país.
Gracias. Thank you for that. I see some questions on TikTok. I'll try to scroll through and answer while we were going through the steps. We just have one more point to discuss when it comes to filing for your spouse that lives abroad, filing a green card for your spouse that lives abroad. So we have one more point to talk about. And someone asked a question, can I start working when I fill out the paperwork? I'm married to a U.S. citizen. A great question, Epic Boss. Thank you for being here. This is on TikTok. Epic Boss, my answer to you will depend on if you're living in the USA right now or if you are living abroad. Because for the people we're talking about in this live, which is those living abroad married to a U.S. citizen, unfortunately, they're not able to work because they don't live here. They live abroad. So they have to wait for the process, step 1 and step 2, to then come into the USA, apply for the actual green card. I think it used to be $220. I don't know if it's going to go up by next month. Apply for the green card and then get the green card and start working here. But if you're already in the USA, if you're doing an adjustment of status, that's the difference, right? This is consular process, spousal visa we're talking about today. But adjustment of status is for those who live in the USA, they're married to a U.S. citizen, and they're adjusting from one status, maybe a B1 or F1 or J1 to a green card, those people can actually apply for their work permit as well and start working while the paperwork is pending. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up, Epic Boss, if you got your answer. I see more questions even related to what we're talking about. I'm definitely going to get into those in a minute here, but let me know if that answers your questions. Everybody, give me a thumbs up, and you can always reach out to me for a one-on-one consultation. Somebody asked, what is the cost for your consultation? It is currently $199 right now. We also have a $99 package to speak with the paralegal. And since it's the end of the quarter, y'all, we're doing a promotion for legal service fees. You know, those run a couple $1,000s, regardless of who you're talking to, because, you know, immigration takes years and a lot of financial investment. So if you want to take advantage of our service fees at this firm, we're having a 15% off running this end of the quarter. It's ending at the end of March 31st. So get in now, have a consultation with us. We can give you a case plan, give you a quote, and you can potentially enjoy all these perks for working with us. We know we can help you with family-based, because that's what we do here 99% of the time. Family-based immigration, marriage-based immigration, to help you and your loved ones live in the USA without fear of deportation, being able to work, being able to travel, just living your best life. That's my goal. Okay?
Yes, you deserve it, guys.
Yeah. Let's see. So we can move on to the next point, or do you want to?
Muy bien, entonces aquí los invitamos a que también agenden directamente con nosotros. Esto es a lo que nos especializamos en esta firma. Ify tiene muchísimo corazón en lo que hace y directamente nosotros sabemos cómo tomar su mano para llevarlos paso a paso para que puedan iniciar su vida correctamente, poder formar una familia sin miedo, con libertad, y no duden en ponerse en contacto. Por aquí van a tener nuestros números y nuestros links. Recuerden que en este momento tenemos 2 promociones directamente con Ify, $199, y un paquete con nuestra paralegal que va a costar $99. Ambas les pueden apoyar y estamos aquí para servirles.
Gracias. Thank you very much. And on to the next point that we have, I actually see a question regarding that from Nazim. But Nazim, the point we're talking about, point 3, is the required documents for this process, required documents and timeline. So a very apt question. The question says, what are some proofs you can show? All right, Nazim, thank you very much for that. So some evidence you can show for this type of visa, since it's a spousal visa, not a adjustment of status, right? Meaning your spouse is not in the USA, so you don't have a lease, you don't have the typical type of evidence, right? So for this type of visa, what you can show, number 1, is your evidence of seeing each other, traveling. How many times have you traveled to see one another? You can show evidence of your text messages and your conversations to show that you are in constant communication. You're making plans of, when I come to the US, we're doing this, or, here's the money that we're using to do this. So you're going to have evidence of your conversations. You're going to have evidence of your trips. You're going to have evidence of your photographs. Like when you take those trips, make sure you're taking pictures. And then also statements from friends and family. That's great evidence that you can use as well to show that your marriage is legit, because people who have helped you, maybe they helped you with your wedding, they help you just in other aspects of your life to put your family together, your parents, your siblings. Those people can write letters saying, I know of this relationship is real. I know that this person has come to the country. Nazim, I'm not sure if you are outside the USA or inside the USA, but they'll be able to just kind of support your statements and your claims that this relationship is real. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if you got some clarity. I missed Adela Krem. I saw your question, but I didn't answer it yet. So I'm going to get to that. But I just wanted to answer Nazim because it's in relation to what we're talking about here, which is the required documents for a spousal visa, which is different from an adjustment of status. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, let me
Muy
know.
bien. Entonces, las cosas que aquí sería, ¿cómo podemos probar que realmente tenemos una relación legítima con esta persona? Aunque no es una relación normal, muy probablemente no tengamos un contrato de un departamento juntos, no tengamos las cuentas financieras en un mismo país juntos, Pero, ¿cómo podemos probar? Tomándole fotografías a las conversaciones que hemos tenido durante el tiempo de nuestra relación romántica. Si ustedes viajaron para encontrarse en un punto o se pusieron de acuerdo, están haciendo planes, todas esas, el dinero que han gastado en los viajes, los tickets de avión. También algo muy importante, las declaraciones familiares, sus padres, sus hermanos, amigos, gente que los haya ayudado quizás en la organización de su boda, quizás ayudado a traer a su esposa o a llegar a visitarla a algún lado. Las fotografías de cuando estuvieron juntos, si conocen a la familia, todo ese tipo de cosas pueden solidificar y darle soporte a su versión y apelar por la relación legítima.
Gracias. Thank you very much. It's so interesting that I'm now understanding basically everything you're saying. Like I
love it.
I was like, I'm picking this up. Really cool. Thank you very much for that explanation. I saw a question from Delacram I'm going to answer, but before that, I want to just point out something because in my notes here, I have CR1 Green Card. And I want you all, those of you who are applying for spousal visas, just look at your green card or look at your application. You might see CR1, you might see IR1. So let me tell you the difference here between CR1 and IR1. They are both spousal visas, but somebody who gets a CR1 gets a conditional residency because they were married for less than 2 years when they applied. So you get a CR1. But if you're just a relative of a U.S. citizen, whether it's your parent or your child or just another relative or a spouse that you've been married to for more than 2 years, you're going to get an IR1 green card, which is your immediate relative green card. So that's the difference, guys. So if you're looking at your stuff or you're reading online and you see CR1, IR1, it's the same thing. It's just depending on your stage or the degree of relationship you have with a U.S. citizen. Make sense?
Makes sense, yes. So, entonces las diferencias son, van a encontrar en la solicitud CR1 y 1R1. La diferencia es que las personas que obtienen una CR1 obtienen una Green Card condicional, generalmente porque tienes menos de 2 años casado con el ciudadano. Y la visa de 1R1 te da una Green Card inmediata porque puede ser o tu hijo o tu esposo que tiene más de 2 años contigo.
Gracias. Thank you very much. Yeah, so on to the questions from Delacram. I think we've reached our final point right now. So we're going to get into the questions fully. I'll start with the one from Delacram that I kind of skipped over. But just to remind you all that we are open to have one-on-one consultations. So call us right now. My number is on the screen. You can see it on Facebook and YouTube and even Instagram. You can see the number on the screen. But on TikTok, you just click on the link in my bio and you see the number to reach out to me for one-on-one. You get one of my team members, but then they can direct you on how to book with me. Okay. But so Delacram says, if I'm a citizen and doing AOS means adjustment of status for my spouse or my child, do I submit to I-130s? And Delacram, the answer to that is yes. Okay. Because there are two individual people that you need to put their information down as to your degree of relationship. So one is your spouse and one is your child. So completely different people, you definitely do that. Now, in some cases, and this is AOS, so in some cases I've seen where the children, I think it might depend on the age of the child, because in some cases the children could be added on the spouse's I-130. You don't need to file another one for them, but it might just be the age. So let's talk some more about how old your child is and what's really, the scenario here to know if you need a second one or not. But general rule of thumb, you need I-130s for everyone that you're
It's an alien relative, right? It's
another relative. Exactly. So everyone else is always going to get their own I-130. That makes sense. All right. Gracias. Thanks for the question. De la creme. Okay. So I'm going to now scroll through to see if there are more. I don't have my iPad with me, dang it, to see about Instagram questions. Are there any?
I can go for Instagram.
Yeah, let's see if there's any on Instagram. Because you can only have so many screens, guys, doing lives on all these platforms. So Some days, like I said, I'm in the middle of moving, so everything is just everywhere. And I'm just thankful that I can even show up like this on these days.
Yes.
Yeah. So I see one from Facebook, but I'll answer the people on TikTok that I've been answering. So you can read through that one and let's see if we'll answer that next. All right, the one on Facebook. Oh, the typing is loud. Okay.
Yes,
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
sometimes
I,
yeah,
I'll
a
mute
lot
myself.
goes on in the backgrounds. That's okay. Yeah, a lot goes on in the background, Khadija. But thanks for letting us know because you know we're just here. Okay, so there's one on Facebook. Let's read that one then. What's that one from
Hi there.
Maria Lane?
Yes,
Marie.
Marilyn Manoloto Buenaventura.
Okay, Buenaventura. I love it.
Yes, me too. Hi there. I was just wondering if I travel outside of the United States with advance parole, do I
Mhm.
have to show my advance parole before leaving or just when coming back to the States at the entry of
Oh,
origin?
easy answer is when coming back to the States. So they're gonna ask you when you're leaving. Nobody's gonna ask you anything. You just need your tickets. They'll say bye because that's easy, right? It's more like when you're re-entering that they need to know that you have permission to do so. So yeah, and definitely talk to your attorney. If you already have an attorney, talk to your attorney before you leave. I always tell my clients before you travel anywhere, just let me know, just so that if someone's calling me in the middle of the night, it's like
We got them
you got
immigration.
held or something, yeah, then I'll know what's going on. So let your attorney know before you make any moves because what the worst case scenario is that you'll be outside and then your case gets denied or something when you're outside, and that would be problematic. So definitely. But great question, though. Thank you very much. Buenaventura. Love it. What does it mean, Denise? Buena means good.
Good adventure.
Ooh, I love it. Buena,
Yeah.
because I'm an adventurer. Okay. I love adventures. Buenaventura.
Buenaventura. It's like a mix of the word.
Word.
Mhm.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. All right. So let me look at these ones
We
here.
have one from Instagram.
Oh, one from Instagram. Okay. Tell me, what's that
Mhm.
one?
YRT, Rake. Do you have to be married to the US citizen to start the sponsoring?
Yes. Is that the end of the question?
It said, is it possible to get a work permit with no dogs?
No, not unless you're married. So once you're married and you do a one-shot process, the one-shot process is what allows you to actually start working
One shot
in between.
process, that's true.
Yeah, because now you file the I-130, you file the I-45, you file the work permit, you file a travel permit all in one shot. That's why we call it a one shot. Okay. But if you're not married, you can't file an I-130, so you can file an I-45, and then you can file a travel permit. Like they all are connected. That you can't just file them individually like that. So a great question. I'm glad I had the opportunity to talk about it because many people really don't understand the concept of this, how it's tied. It's the relationship that allows you to do the next thing and then the next thing like that. It's not just, oh, I'm married to a US citizen, now I can work. But who knows you're married to a US citizen? The government sure as hell doesn't know. I mean, they have your marriage license, but anybody can get a marriage license. They need to know for sure that it's not about just the immigration benefit. Okay? Claro?
Claro que sí.
Sí.
Entonces, eso es, sí, definitivamente la relación es la base de todo el proceso. Claro que estar casados es importante, pero hasta que no podemos demostrarle al gobierno de Estados Unidos que esto no es nada más por papeleo de trabajo, hay que pues formar un caso completo para soportar que esto es una relación legítima.
Great. Thanks for that. I see a question from Tam Tam. This is of our question, and then also Meet Jojo. So I kind of answer them together. I hope you all are still here. Give me a thumbs up. See, these are on TikTok. Meet Jojo says, "Has the process gotten any better in 2024?" And Tam Tam wants to know when she'll get her green card. Or I'm not sure if Tam Tam is a boy or girl, but when you get your green card after you file for VAWA. Oh, and you get your work permit. So you filed in 2021. You just got your work permit in 2023, which is a long time. Like, dang. But to get your green card, that I-360 has to be approved. And I've seen I-360s take like 37 months. It can take the whole time, which is 2.5 years or 3 years. Oh, what's 37 months? Like 3 years. So it can take 3 years for the I-360 itself to get approved. And when that gets approved, then you will now get sent to the I-485, the I-485 processing. It's just like almost the I-130 getting approved type of thing. So it can take quite a while. That whole 3-year thing is kind of like my clients who got his I-360 approved after 37 months still hasn't gotten his green card because he didn't apply for them at the same time. So that's why we encourage one shot. Apply for one shot. So once they finish one, they just move to the next like that, So, but it looks like you filed them together, so just be patient. I'm glad you at least got your 5-year work permit, TAM. So that's good. And JoJo, as far as the process getting better in 2024, we're hoping so, because that's why fees are going up. Okay, today I just did a consultation. Today is my first time actually telling someone the price for April 1st, because we always I think last week or so. Last week was the last time we accepted any cases that could go out by April 1st. We will just always talk about that 1225, whatnot. It has really gone up. Like I-130 is announced 600 and what was that amount again? Patricia, 630 or something like that. And then I-131 is 630. I think it was I-131 at 630. That was one that shocked me the most because I'm like, they're now charging for each individual form, right? VAWA applicants thankfully don't have to pay for the I-485, which is like $1,400 now, but they still have to pay for that work permit and travel permit, which could still be a couple $1,000s. I'm just like, dang, like it really is going up. And at this point, not everybody can meet that deadline. Some people aren't even married yet. So it is what it is, but just know that that's just what's coming down the line. And with the increase, hopefully we'll see better processing. So you see, let's see. Okay.
Let's see. Hope.
Time you got 2-year work permit in 2023.
And I am going through the
What was that? Is that another question from Facebook?
We have I was looking to see if
there's more. Yeah, I think there's more, definitely. I scrolled past some, but I'll get back to them in a minute. I think we still have a couple more minutes here on this live. So thank you all.
We have a question from Romero.
Okay, from who?
Romero.
Okay.
I hope he's still here. Romero, I applied for my husband's son. What's the probability that he does qualify? I am a U.S. citizen. So it's about the sponsorship, no?
Yeah, sponsorship for the son. But if it's your husband's son, was he less than 16 when you all got married? Because without that, then you can't even qualify him as your son. So, right, that's going to be the question, Romero, was this son in the right age, or how did you become the step parent, essentially? That's what USCIS is going to want to know. Because if the son was like, let's say 17, you can't be qualified as a step parent for that. Okay.
He has to be under 16.
Right. Yeah. So, all right, let me scroll through and see some that I may have passed over before, because I see I've answered Nazim, which is some extra proofs. Okay, Nazim says, what are some extra proofs you can use except lease, auto insurance, and pictures if you live here? If you live here, I think some of the ones I discussed for a consular can still work. You have your joint taxes, joint accounts. That's one of the things you can use if you're here, because you get an American account. You don't need a social to get an American account. People are always saying that. I'm like, no, you don't. You can get utilities. You can, because there are different banks. Just go to the one that will let you use your passport. You can use utilities, your phone bills together. If you have anniversaries and you do like any big parties or gifting, save that, thing that you gifted, like a watch, like a Rolex, something like that. Just save it to show, because that's a financial investment. That's something big that you do, gestures that you make during the relationship. So yeah, I hope that answers you more, Nazim. Thank you very much for being here. Darius, I have a couple of questions, but you won't answer all of them because of time.
What Darius, are the odds?
Oh yeah, so book a call with us. I didn't get any one of the questions though, Darius, but I think maybe I answered one from you before, so you said you have more, but just book a call with me. As we're gisting right now on the live, is the same way I'm going to be gisting with you in the consults, but it will just be me and you, not me, you, and couple more people. So, and then you can ask me all the questions you want. I'll give you clarity, and there will be no reason to hide anything. You should never hide anything from your lawyers or your doctors if you want to actually be well. So never hide anything, just be open. But I know in these public settings it's tough to be open. Even for me to even openly tell you some things, it's harder because other people would mishear this and take this as legal advice. But this is not legal advice to anyone. This is just general information that puts you in the right mindset to know that, okay, I may qualify for this, I need professional help, or I'm on the right track. It's taking 2 years, but so is everyone else's case.
This
So
is
just
a good sign.
normal, right? So let's see the one from Facebook. I see other questions on TikTok. Well, let's just give Buenaventura a chance again. What does it say? It's a long one. Is it more questions
Thank you
or
for your
just?
responses. Means a lot. And will that be all I need to show the CP, if I may ask, or do I need to bring and show also my pending cases for AOS just to prove it? It is still pending status. I live next Saturday due to humanitarian reasons. My grandpa was diagnosed with cancer. Should I also bring his medical documents to show the CVPs in advance parole document? It's not enough to prove.
Maria, you don't even have to do all of that, to be honest, because you already got the travel permit. So they already agreed that you can travel and you can come back in. That's all it's for. You can take your pending AOS, because what they would usually ask you is, where did you go and what is your status in the USA? So your status is pending adjustment of status. So if you want to take your receipt notice, but it really doesn't hold as much weight. They can just put your name in the system and see what's up. Like, they will know that you have a pending AOS or that, but they will ask you, do you have a spouse? The reason why they ask is, let's just say you're doing spousal adjustment of status, right? And you're having marital problems, but you've just been crossing your fingers and holding your breath, not trying to act like these problems exist. Maybe I'll just get my green card, sharp, sharp. And then you're separated from your spouse even. And then at the border, they ask you where you're going, like who you're going back. I'm going to my spouse or whatever. Meanwhile, you're not even leaving with your spouse. It's like a whole mess. You're probably about to file VAWA. It's just not where it was. You do have a pending AOS, but that's going to be some sort of misrepresentation because you're not, you're still acting like as if the marriage is legitimate or like it's still going to be that same AOS. But on the other hand, you shouldn't really start explaining to the CBP officer all these things because you're not an attorney. You're going to say something that they will use against you. So that's why I said, talk to your attorney before you leave, because your attorney knows the tea. They know everything. They know if the marriage is falling apart. They might even tell you, well, because your marriage is falling apart, because we're about to do a vow, I don't travel, or, whatever. So, but if your marriage is good, everything is normal and fine, they're just going to ask you these questions. Hopefully you don't misrepresent yourself and cause any other further inadmissibilities down the line. But just be honest. Say, I went home to see my grandpa and now I'm back. Keep it simple, keep it short, because the more you speak, the more you could implicate yourself and implicate
Right.
things. So just keep it simple and, hope for the best. Okay?
And hopefully everything comes out better with the grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Darius says he'll place a call when we get off the line. Darius, I have a consultation. I have two actually back to back after this live. So you're going to have to book a call with me. Usually people call the phone and expect to talk to me directly, but I'm like, that's just not how it works. You're going to have to talk to somebody on my team who's going to put you on a call with me, or you can just talk to the paralegal, which is $99, who can still give you the same guidance based on what I've put in place for the team. So you're gonna still get your answers and clarity, and I can follow up with you after that. But essentially, that's how we do it here. You're very welcome. Buenaventura. Buenaventura. You're welcome. All right. So last couple more questions before I hop off here. I hope I'm not already late to my consults. What's Patricia saying in the chats? I think she said it was 12:15.
I
Yeah.
think.
Okay. That's cool. Let's see.
Yes, 12:15, she said.
Okay. All right, cool. I saw a very good question I wanted to answer earlier. I hope I didn't miss that. T is for Texas says, how can I get a quick divorce from my Nigerian husband if I live in Texas? T is for Texas. Divorce questions are family law questions, not family immigration questions. So you're gonna have to find out from a Texas attorney about that. Getting quick. I don't even know the wait time and all that. So every state is different. In North Carolina, you have to be separated for a year before you do divorce. So I don't know, T. But thank you for asking, though. Thank you for being here. Meet Jojo says my processing time says 2 months, and I don't believe it. Meet Jojo. Okay, I guess you're the one that asked about the change in processing times this year. Hopefully, they'll mean what they say, but maybe it could be. I've seen a green card get approved in 3 months, like 87 days at this law firm. So anything could happen. Just have faith. Whatever you believe, whatever you call to existence will happen for you. Okay. All right. What else again? What's the price of K1 in April? I honestly don't even know that answer. I29F. So let's do a quick Google search on that. I29F price for right now is 535. So I don't know if it's gonna just be the same price for I130s like in the future. So hopefully we'll do a quick Google search and let you know. You can text us, call us. Or some people say they call and they don't get anyone. Or just leave a message or text us and we'll call you right back. We get lots and lots of calls every day, and we want you all to keep on calling, but just give us some time to get back to you so that we can help you as best we can. Okay. All right.
I think I see the price. I found like I-130. It's going to increase. I-131 is 630, and I-130 it's going to be 675 paper and
Oh,
625 online.
line. Okay. What about I29F? That's the one for the fiance visa petition. I29F. The fee changes April 1st, Fino.
Price increase.
Yeah. And to
In
budget for
April
this,
from
yeah, from April 1st. Yeah. April 1st.
on April, okay, it was from 535 to 675. It's going to be the cost of the
Okay. So I guess,
I-29F.
okay. So I
I-130.
figure it's the same because it's always been the same as I-130. So it's going to be the same 675. So I hope you got that. Someone says, what happens if I have a pending criminal case outside the U.S. while adjusting status? For Steve, that could potentially also be an issue because they will ask you for your criminal history worldwide. So depends on what type of crime or case or what's going on there. But it will come up. It doesn't mean it'll prevent you from adjusting, but it's something you have to disclose. Let's see. How much will I need to budget for this whole process? I'm I'm thinking 7 to 10,000 if you're doing family-based immigration, because there's so many different fees other than service fees or attorney fees. There are other things you're paying for the medical, you're paying the government here and there, different forms. So a couple $1,000s. At our firm, we have payment options to help clients handle these bills. Because I mean, I'm an immigrant too. I'm from Nigeria, so I understand where you all come from, but at the same time, just understand that I also went through this process. I got an attorney. We did a family-based immigration, a family of what, 7 or 8. I don't know how the heck all that happened. I remember seeing my mom with all these paper forms. And this was like back in the day. Okay, things were not as it is right now. You're printing everything so manual and all that your handwriting stuff, horrible. But now at least we have systems and ways to help you get through it a bit quicker, with less stress. It's still going to be stressful, but we'll take on most of that stress for you. Okay. That's why I encourage you to come on with us, sign up with us, and we can help you as best that we can. Okay. Okay. It's not less than 2K if you do it yourself because the form fees alone are $2,000 something. Then there's medical fees that are not in the form fees. So don't even feed lies on this live, Father Motombo. Okay? Okay. Don't play yourself. Okay. And then it'll be more than 2K if you file and then something happens and you come to me for an RFE, then you're going to pay a service fee that time. Or you get an NOID, notice of intent to deny. For something simple like I did not, I don't know, you didn't submit enough proof of income. That's going to be 9K we're talking, because you're going to have to pay an attorney the full service because they didn't do your case. So they don't know what you're talking about, so don't play yourself. Think about the value you get, not the money that you pay. Okay? Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so we have only 3 minutes left.
yeah, 3
I
minutes.
think.
So, dude, yeah. Well, I see any
We still have so many, comments in TikTok.
yeah,
Thank
see.
you all for being here, guys. We truly appreciate you. And remember, if you guys know someone that needs help in Spanish, you can always let them know. We are now here to help them.
Yes. Thank you very
En
much for
español
that.
estamos para ustedes.
Sí, gracias. Yeah, I think that's all we can answer for now. The rest that I'm seeing were just kind of, what's the price of K1 April? I think I answered that. Was Tracy 221G. So some of them are a bit complicated to kind of get into in this short time. So let's just save it for the next live. You can come on and let's talk about that and reach out to me, and then we can talk more in private. Okay?
Yes,
My phone
Sharda.
is off my live.
Sharda sounds like there's a Bawa case. You see the Sharda question.
Who?
Sharda. It's like they got married. Like I know someone who came from Nigeria on a fiance visa and got married. Now she's in the shelter. Like they got married and he became abusive.
And the person is from Nigeria. The lady came from Nigeria. Wow, she should definitely reach out if she's in the shelter, because
Yes, Sharda, this is a good chance to reach out. Definitely get help. We can support that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, reach out, because being in the shelter is already evidence of extreme cruelty, because they've kicked you out of the house and you just came here for that person.
Because of them.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's all I think I have for today. Thank you for the follow, Haley. And for those of you who I did not answer your questions, really apologize, because we always just get so into it and run out of time. But these lives are for like 30 minutes, end up being like 45 minutes. But our
And
consultations
we
are,
pick up just like scrolling.
yeah. So it's a lot of you, but I hope that I at least gave you all some attention. There was nothing else from Instagram, right, before we kind of end?
No.
Nothing else? Okay, great. Thank you so much, you all, for being here. Remember, every Tuesdays and Thursdays and then Fridays in the group, we're doing one-on-one Q&As. I'm here sharing the tea, sharing tips and all of that. I am not a Ghanaian, Kwesi. I am Nigerian. So I know we are basically brother and sister, of which Nigeria is the older sister, okay? So, but thank you very much for being here. And Ni Kote, I hope I answered your question, Ni, because I saw you earlier there. Thank you very much for participating. Yeah. Alrighty. Take care.
Muchas gracias.
Yes. How do you say goodbye in Espanol? Hasta luego, no, hasta la vista.
Hasta luego. Hasta la vistas, baby.
Hasta luego, guys. All right.
Hasta la vista, baby.
I know.
That's so Schwarzenegger.
I know. All right. Take care, guys. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.